Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I am at Iron City Motorcycles South Shields, and in front of me I've got the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Look at that. First of all, before we get into it, I just take a look at this colour scheme. I love how everything matches, from the camo to the seat to the frame itself. That is a nice feature. I love the attention to detail with this. This is nice. Now, before we get on the bike itself, let's just have a quick look at it. So as it's an adventure bike, we've got this lovely framework here with the Royal Enfield engraved, and look, the colours even match. That's a very, very nice attention to detail that I love that Royal Enfield's done there. It's very nice. We've got a slimline exhaust which beautifully goes with the adventure kind of theming. And then we've got this bracket here which allows you to put a top box on, which actually comes included with the bike, which is really, really cool. Now, if we go down here, we've got these foot pegs, and look at them. They are nicely grooved, so you're not slipping around when you're trying to keep your foot on the peg. Not to mention, it also has a center stand here, so if you're looping the bike up, doing maintenance, it just makes everything so much easier, which I like about the Royal Enfield. Overall, Royal Enfield have really thought about everything on this bike, and it is a beautiful work of art. That's what it is. Work of art. Look at that. Now, without further ado, let's get on it and look at this TFT's display. Now, looking at the display, I will mention that the camera might not sync perfectly to this display, and it might flicker a little bit from time to time in this video. Don't worry, it doesn't do that in person. That is just the frame rate of the camera interacting with the frame rate of the monitor. Now, turning the bike on, we will see this beautiful startup display. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. I love how the rev gauge is just on the corner like that, and it just feels a perfect place to have it. Then you've got the fuel gauge there, which, by the way, is beautiful, especially if you're off-roading. You want to know exactly how much fuel you have before the next petrol station, because they'll be far and few between. Then you've got the gear indicator, the time, the temperature, the miles per hour that you go in, the mileage of the bike. Then you've got a bunch of lights as well for like engine light, ABS, that kind of thing, so you know what's going on with the bike at all times. Now, going into it as well, we've got this mode button, which if you click that, you've got different ride modes. You can turn the ABS off, you can turn it on with eco mode, or you can have performance mode, which is a very handy feature to have. Now, on the left hand side here, we've got this little switch here which allows you to go through the trip, the fuel range, consumption, all this kind of stuff, so you know exactly what's going on with your bike at all times, which is nice and easy. And you've got the home button just there if you want to go back as well. Very easy to use TFT display there. Now, in terms of the other buttons, we've got the high beams right there, we've got the horn, indicators, we've got the hazards, and then the ignition kill switch as well. So it's very simple to use buttons. Now, without further ado, let's start up and get going. So, initial impressions, this is very smooth. It's not like the other Royal Enfields, like the Shotgun, the Super Meteor, or even the Classic. And with the rear brake pedal having them grooves on, it means that it actually grabs your boot really, really nice. There's no slipping at all, which is great if you're a bit more muddier because you're adventuring off-road with this bike. I just say, I love the shape of this windscreen right here. I think it looks really stylish, and it fits the entire shape of the body. Everything just seems to go really nicely together on this, and I'm loving it. Now, even though it's quite a tall bike as well, it does feel like it's really easy to just move around. It just feels natural. And then these mirrors as well go so well with the aesthetic of the bike, and you can see so much in them. They're not too obstructive either. Let's avoid that. And let's go see if there's any bikers around today. There are a few. Let's go say hi. I just love that colour scheme. It's nice. Now, before we get to anything else, I just wanted to address this turning angle is amazing. There's not going to be any issues there, and that's what's great about this adventure bike, is if you're stuck in the woods somewhere on a trail, you know that you've got that extra turn angle to help you out if you need it the most. And you know what, if you are green laning, I would say this is kind of like the perfect bike for it, because it's not too heavy with it being a 450cc. It means that if you are a little bit stuck, you get caught on a tree or something, then it's easier to lift out of that tough spot. And with this turn angle as well, it just means that if you are stuck, it gives you more opportunities to get out of wherever you are. And I do think it brings it back to that point of, would you prefer to ride a slower bike fast or a fast bike slow? And with it having a 450 engine, this is very much you can have more fun with it, because you're going through more of the gears. You're not just blipping the throttle and already at the speed limit. You are kind of enjoying everything. And when you're green laning, that's what it's all about. You're just enjoying the adventure. But at the same time, it's got more than enough power to see you through whatever you need. What's nice as well, if you've seen my Gorilla 450 review, you can swap this to dark mode as well, and it'll do it automatically if you have that setting on. So if you are going through a tunnel or at night time, it will swap that bright white to a dark mode as well, which is quite handy. So to summarize, I really quite like this bike. This is a great adventure bike. It's got a lot going for it, and I love the shape. And here we are back at Royal Enfield South Shields. Look at that. Very, very nice. So also, the rear seat position, you've got enough storage for a bit of a tool bag, but that's about it. But it is good enough if you need a few extra tools to see you through any kind of mechanical issues, which is quite handy. Now, before this video concludes, I am going to do a sound check so you can hear what it sounds like all warmed up. This is stock as well. It's very throaty, to be honest. For such a thin exhaust, it is quite a nice sounding exhaust as well. Mwah. And that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.